Now, we are talking about diversity inclusion because just 10.5% of white young people are at elite universities. That is according to the figures from the Department of Education, which show for the first time that white pupils are now the least represented of any ethnicity at top universities, following a national drive to take intakes from more diverse groups. But they're not the only ones that are at the heart of diversity inclusion. You've got diversity inclusion in terms of things like what have we got on the BBC, in different corporations, in the civil service. The list is endless. So for the Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, is it time to get rid of diversity and inclusion? Right, so to discuss more, I'm joined by the Associate Editor of The Spectator, Rod Liddle. Hello, Rod. Right, I'm going to ask you... what do you think about this then? This whole thing, they're saying that there's now there's so few white pupils attending because obviously they've set their targets.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're absolutely right. We've had enough of diversity and inclusion because it's primarily racist. I mean, OK, obviously it's racist against the white guys and the white girls, but it's also racist and patronising towards black, Asian and ethnic minority people. And as you rightly point out, actually can work against black, Asian and ethnic minority people in that idiotic institutions believe they have quotas to fill. So yeah, it's a patronising and terribly divisive method of trying to achieve fairness, when we all know that the greatest problem really for all people in trying to get to university, and there are many others other than this, but the greatest one is inequality of income. But there are plenty of other ideas, there are plenty of other reasons why certain people go to university, certain races go and others do not. If you look at the whole breadth of who goes to university, it could not possibly be down to racism. It could not possibly be down to racism because, of course, Indian kids, Chinese kids, and indeed African girls all do very, very well, whereas white working class kids do very badly. White girls do a little bit better. So there's an enormous spread, which makes it clear that it's absolutely nothing to do with racism.
Do you think that now it's come to this point, we'll have to sort of flip it on its head now and have diversity inclusion for white pupils?
No, I think we should have diversity inclusion for nobody. I think it's overrated. It's become part of a kind of shibboleth for the Liberals that they have to have diversity and inclusion without really understanding what it means. I think we have to accept that as the report from Tony Sewell 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I forget which, pointed out, the investigation into race and achievement within the country, that basically there's no institutional racism. That doesn't exist. There are certain things which happen within races which make some people more likely to go to university, some races more likely to go to university than others. And that's not something which the state has the power to do anything about. And in the meantime, I think what you have seen, I think it's undoubted that this has happened, is that probably less attention has been given to white working class kids in schools in the last 20 years, because in this ludicrous list of hierarchies which the Liberals impose upon our society, they come somewhere very near the bottom. My guess, incidentally, Nana, is that below the white working class kids, and I don't know this, I haven't seen the latest figures, my guess is that the traveller kids are also very, very poorly represented and probably at the bottom of the pile.
The thing is, it's not just in universities and things. We've got lots of diversity and inclusion in the workplace as well. Do you think it's time that we literally just got rid of it all? I know you said that because in my view, there was a time when, yes, we should have, maybe the positive discrimination was something that you needed to be competent and aware of and conscious of. But now it's time that we lost the consciousness of it because actually it's becoming quite destructive.
Yes, Nana, and I don't know where I stand on what used to have should have been the case, because I've always thought that diversity and inclusion was something which was extremely patronising and didn't didn't end up providing the kind of results you would want. So, for example, the BBC is a great case in point. And I used to work there, and they were very, very keen. This is going back 22 years, very keen on diversity and inclusion. But what it tended to mean was that they got lots and lots of middle-class Asian women, but virtually no British Caribbean men. So, in other words, even though they had these diversity and inclusion targets, and everyone who wasn't white was counted as black or was counted as black, effectively, what they did was simply choose people who were like themselves but had a different colour skin, and so you didn't really get diversity. You didn't get diversity at all. You just got a cosmetic verisimilitudinous effect of diversity, which wasn't diversity in a real sense at all. And similarly, in TV programs, they would just kind of shove black and Asian people into roles for cosmetic reasons, without the culture and without the background and the context. And I think that I don't think that worked at all. I mean, your experiences, Nana, are undoubtedly different. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed to me that even 20 odd years ago, it didn't work.
No, and they've come out with that term BAME, which is the BAME of my life. Listen, Rod Liddle, thank you very much for joining me. He's the associate editor of The Spectator. Thank you so much.